This week on the 5 o'clock news, our Steve Lacey and Teresa Priolo spoke with a doctor on how drinking coffee or tea, I'm a coffee drinker, could help lower your risk of dementia, plus an alarming new study about bottled water.
Well, Fox 5 Health News, drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee or tea per day could lower your risk of dementia, but researchers say don't make it decaf.
All right, joining us now is Dr. Jacob Kurgan. Doctor, thanks for being with us tonight. All right, so what did this study find about it, and especially as it relates to coffee?
Yeah, it was an interesting study. It was a pretty big study published in JAMA, which is a very respectable medical journal. Looked at 130,000 people, both men and women, and of those, about 11,000 developed dementia. And the question was, did their caffeine intake have something to do with their risk of developing dementia? And this study says the answer is yes. They actually specifically looked at caffeinated things like coffee and tea, and compared it to decaffeinated coffee, and found that only caffeine containing beverages had this protective effect, about 18% reduced risk of developing dementia. So this is an interesting study, and if you're a coffee drinker, this is music to your ears.
Yeah, is this like chicken or the egg, do you think? Is it the polyphenols in the caffeinated coffee and tea, or is it the fact that maybe you're more active the more caffeinated drinks you're having just to keep going?
Excellent question. I mean, this study doesn't really give us the answer to that. It's showing an association. It's showing that it's a statistically significant association, but we can't kind of come up with chicken or the egg and say this is the reason for that. There's a lot of theories out there. Phenols, like you mentioned, is a good theory. There's substances in these drinks that might reduce inflammation, and maybe over long term, this study looked at 30, 40 years of data. That decreased inflammation could result in some brain health, not to mention that it might also dilate or kind of improve the blood flow. So those are our theories, but we don't have a direct answer just from the study.
Yeah, all right, we'll take the win on that one regardless. All right, and scientists make an alarming discovery about bottled water, finding it contains higher levels of microplastics and nanoplastics than anticipated. This is sort of the nightmare study for people who drink a lot of bottled water, are concerned about these plastics. A particular interest in this one is these nanoplastics we weren't able to measure before because they were so small, and really all the news out of this study is pretty alarming on that front.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're hearing about this all the time. We're not 100% sure what the presence of micro and nanoplastics will mean long term. Nobody is super happy about hearing that your body's riddled with micro or nanoplastics. This study specifically was able to look at these really tiny particles under a micron, a thousandth of a meter in size. That was difficult to look at before. And so that's what they did. They looked at these very tiny particles to see if they were more common in regular sort of municipal tap water, which is treated a certain way, and compared it to bottled water, and there was a lot more in bottled plastic water. So concerns, do we know what that translates into? Not yet. We do know that these really tiny particles have the ability, just because they're so small, to cross the blood-brain barrier, to actually cross the cell membrane, so they can get directly into the cell. So obviously this is something that needs to be watched, and we'll probably find out more as the months and years come.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, Doctor, we appreciate it. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Of course.
All right, well, we hope you're having a great morning. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us.